All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
First off, we want to give all praises, all honor and glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule and teach well, who also taught us this 100% truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm the brother Kasada.
Brother Yaquad.
All right, back here with another quick lesson, Lord willing, to edify lesson. Now, this is just a land back off the elder in South Carolina, Elder Natazabah. All right, Mexicans, Hebrew Israelites. All right, and yes, they are Hebrew Israelites. I'm gonna play a little of this video. All right, and we're gonna get straight into it so you can get a better understanding.
I'm at right doing laundry and I am scrolling TikTok and look what I come across. I am flabbergasted. My gaskets are flabbered because I just would have never thought. I see Hebrew Israelites all the time, but I would have never thought it would be Mexican Hebrew Israelites.
I saw a video of Latino Hebrew Israelites. That was a mouthful. Yeah, I saw a video of them. I didn't think that could be real. I didn't know that was allowed. But I gotta give it to them. Diversity, equity, and inclusion. Good for them, I guess.
This earth is too fucking funny. What do you mean we got a new download? What do you mean we have Mexican Hebrew Israelite? I thought that was just a dark part of the black community we don't talk about. And the fact that the cadence, the way that he says, the way he preaches is exactly the fucking same. Sometimes I love the planet, sometimes I want to nuke it. I don't know what it is in this situation right now.
Está bien, ¿cómo está, hermano? ¿Pero qué tu raza? México.
Que le crean al Señor.
Te vamos a leer algo de la Biblia. San Juan, capítulo 10, versículo 27. Mis ovejas oyen mi voz. ¿Qué dice la Biblia? Mis ovejas oyen mi voz. Eso es un mandamiento. Quitándose la gorra, es en 1 Corintios 11. Eso es correcto, lo que él dice. ¡Y yo les conozco!
So I'm confused because I thought the whole Hebrew Israelites thing was saying that black people are the original Jews. I thought that was their thing. So how are Mexicans now the original Jews? I assume they're Mexican. I don't know for sure. But this don't make no sense to me at all. And I am cracking up that now y'all got them yelling on the side of the road like us. Side note, I saw them in the West End last week. I tried to pull over and get a video, but there was too much going on. But child, they be on the belt line just harassing everybody that walks through that thing.
And I'm not gonna play the whole thing. You can go check out the rest of the video on the elders page, as you can see. But you get the gist of it, the point, through the spirit. You have certain individuals that just believe, like we said, that all Israel is just so-called black, all right? In which that's a common misconception among Israel, all right? Because you do have certain Israelite groups that do push that so-called all Israel, all 12 tribes look like so-called Negroes, which are all black. All right.
It's low level and it's stupid.
Yeah. And we don't push that. We've been teaching that. And it's almost like, where have you Israelites been? Because as the elder put in the video, you seen the 12 tribes chart, and you act as if that was a new thing. That's been on the chart. We've been teaching that for years, man.
These niggas don't pay attention in class.
No.
They knowing something but not knowing what they ought to know.
Right.
That's the problem, and it's their pride. Everything, I'm cracking up. He. It's so funny. Mm-hmm. It's not funny.
Yep.
Your incompetence is nothing funny about that.
Right.
All right. The so-called Hispanics are Israelites according to biblical prophecy, just like we're Israelites according to biblical prophecy. When I say we're, I'm talking about the Southern Kingdom. Mm-hmm. And the Southern Kingdom is speaking of the Negroes of America, those Israelites in the Caribbean isles, islands, the so-called Haitians.
Yep.
All right, that's those people composed of the Southern Kingdom, the people, the Igbo, Ashanti, Yoruba. Those where do you think black people in America came from?
Right.
All right, the people. So it's Israelites throughout the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Israelites are throughout the earth, but prophetically, not only the Mexicans, but the Hispanics are Israelites according to the Bible.
Yep.
You can go check out the Los Lunas stones,
Mm-hmm.
the Bat Creek stone. I'm talking archaeology proving these people are Israelites.
Yeah. See, Esau has you people confused because what he prescribed and taught you his history, what he believed in. But what were these people doing and speaking? What language were they speaking before Esau even got to those lands? They wasn't speaking Spanish. All right. They wasn't speaking Native American Indians. You knew they wasn't speaking English.
Let me get a book. I'm gonna go
right.
keep teaching. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get the Lost Tribes.
All right. Because ultimately, man, what you people gonna find out is that, hey, the Israelites are scattered all to the four corners of the earth. All right, I got a quick scripture real quick. I'm gonna go ahead and grab it, and we can come back to that one. All right, this is John 7:24. It says, "Do not judge according to appearance, but judge with righteous judgment." Yeah, you can't just go off of appearance, man. Not every single black person is a Hebrew Israelite, man. Just like every so-called white person isn't an Edomite. All right, some of them who do look like Edomites are Israelites, man. All right, you have Israelites that's in Asia, all of Asia, man. You have Israelites that live in Africa. All right, of course, you have Israelites that live in Europe. All right, you have Israelites everywhere, man. But what you're gonna find out is that, hey, the Northern Kingdom, which are the Hispanics, all right, and Native Americans, all right, Latinos and Native Americans are a part of the 12 tribes, all right. Majority of them are, okay. They are Israelites, man. All right, and of course you have heathen mixed in with our people, man. That's why the scripture talks about Yahweh Shai talks about the wheats and the tares, man. He's got to separate the Israelites from the heathens, man. All right, because you're gonna have Israelites look like every race or every nation. Let me say it like that. And you're gonna have heathens that look like Israelites, man. All right. Just like the script Designer in Bible Dictionary talks about Ham. All right, Ham. Which matter of fact, let me pull that up. I'm gonna pull it up. Bear with me real quick.
Lost Tribes in the Promised Lands.
All right. And here it is, Ham. All right, in the Zondervan Bible Compact Bible Dictionary, and it says what it says at the top. It says not the Negroes. So there's a huge separation, man. You can't just go off this so-called black thing. Oh, we all from Africa, this and that. You can't just run off that, man. All right, now, yes, you do have some Israelites that are mingled among him. But I'm going to read this real quick. This says, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about the 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor of the dark race, not the Negroes, but the Egyptians, Ethiopians, Libyans, and Canaanites. So you have to get all this so-called black thing, black off your mind, man. A lot of you Israelites, man, that's why the scripture talks about, hey, man, you Israelites, man, are sottish, meaning stupid. It says my people are sottish children. Stupid, man. All right? You people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge, man. All right? Because you don't know, all right, how to separate yourself from this so-called black ideology, man. All right? In which black just means void of light. You don't have no understanding. It just means you don't understand. You don't know. All right. You don't know. Another term is being ignorant, man. All right? So you really don't have it. All right? Through the Spirit, man. That's why the Lord, all right, that's why you can't get that Issachar being the so-called Mexicans are Israelites, man. That's why you can't see it.
Which Issachar, I'm not sure if you brought this up, but the term Issachar, his name, Yeshashakar in Hebrew, which means he is hired.
I didn't. You got it, bro.
Which is a prophetic nomen omen about the so-called Mexicans. And that's why he was, as you know, as far as employment, they hold a large margin of the employment in America because of their work ethic. All right, the symbol, the national symbol for Issachar, or the tribal symbol for Issachar, is a donkey.
Yep.
An ass, which an ass represents hard work. All right, and see, these are spiritual things that these people don't understand. Well, why is that? That's because they're not spiritual.
Yeah.
You know. Now you do your thing. So I'm gonna grab some stuff from it's a book, but it's a book entitled "Lost Tribes in the Promised Lands: The Origins of American Racism" by Ronald Sanders. Now go ahead. Let me.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that Jeremiah. Let's grab that Jeremiah chapter 50 and 33. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go." So yeah, we all in captivity, even the Northern Kingdom. All right, even the Hispanic or the Latinos and Native Americans, yes, they're in captivity too, as well with the Southern Kingdom. All right, them people down there even though they in that prominent land, it may look like they run that land, but ultimately, man, they have somebody over them. Who is that? The enemy, which is Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. Them people are going through it down there. Them people are under the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. You go read it yourself. All right. And some of that didn't come into fruition until now. All right. Especially with them being here. A lot of Deuteronomy 28 really take place for the Northern Kingdom until they came here. All right. To where? North America. Some of them are living it out in South America. Yeah, of course. Because what? They're dealing with crime, gangs. All right. Well, what else, man? Poverty. All right, all types of stuff. They grow all types of fruits and have all types of natural resources and things, but it doesn't help them or benefit them none, because they can't capitalize off it. Because why? They have the oppressor and enemy of. Look at Venezuela.
Right, that's right.
You know, look at another place. Look at Nigeria, man.
Yeah.
Nigeria has a lot of fuel and resources and natural elements. They can profit off a lot.
Yeah, so don't run with that notion. They have their own country and they grow their own fruits. Nigeria has their own country.
That's Southern Kingdom, Judah.
And those are Israelites.
Yeah.
Where do you think the majority of the African Americans descend from? You freaking reprobates. They descend from Igbo, Ashanti, which that's Ghana. You know, Yoruba, small portion Hausa. You know,
yeah, they act like
Quaibo.
Salaki. They act like the Southern Kingdom is the only one that's going through it. Yes, Southern Kingdom did have it the harshest. Why? Why did Judah have it the harshest? Because they was the head tribe.
Yeah.
All right, you got to understand that. It's the same as when Eve. Got Adam to inquire of that serpent. Here, listen to that serpent, man.
Did you get?
He primarily punished Adam for that. Because why? Because Adam is the head, man.
That's right, bro.
You got it, Salaki.
Right. No, Salaki for interrupting.
No, you got it.
Did you get, when I stepped away? Did you get Second Esdras?
No.
Okay, so let me.
You want me to get that Second Esdras chapter 30?
Let's read this out of this book. All right, as I said, it's entitled "Lost Tribes in Promised Lands: The Origins of American Racism" by Ronald Sanders. This is chapter 6. It's entitled "Enter Columbus." I'm gonna go to page 77. All right, See, Columbus didn't think he wasn't trying to go to India. Yeah, that's what history tells you as far as in your school books. But when you go to actual historical books, Columbus knew exactly where he was going to. Columbus purposely came to the Americas. All right. So page 77. Let's see. It says, all his life, Columbus' ideas about geography were permeated with a peculiar religious mysticism. He kept a book of prophecies in which he collected quotations, mostly from the Bible, often those dealing with isles far off, right? And the isles of far off were the Americas and the different isles such as Puerto Rico, things of that nature, all right, which is included in the Americas, right? So I'm gonna go down. It says, a striking element in Columbus' geographical religiosity is his intense and abiding interest in the fourth, and then in parentheses, or second book of Esdras, because you have 4 books of Esdras in the regular Bible that you regular people read, like I'll say Protestant religious descent people, which is people in America. They don't have the Bible with the Apocrypha included because it was taken out in the 1800s. But so you have 2 books of Esdras in the Old Testament, and you also have 2 books of Esdras in the Apocrypha book. They were written by the same man, right? So that's why it says the 4th book is Esdras, or second book, because in the Apocrypha is written second Esdras, but technically that's the 4th book of Esdras. All right. It says book of Esdras. It says the 2 apocryphal books of Esdras purport to be additional writings and about the Old Testament Ezra. But the 2nd or 4th book, which is in the Apocrypha, it says is a piece of full-fledged Hellenistic apocalyptic writing that was often regarded with suspicion by the church and just as often embraced by the heterodox. Augustine had given guarded approval to Esdras' prophetic claims, and much was always to be made of this by the latter's defenders, including Columbus. In the marginal notes to Columbus' copy of De Aili, it is relatively lengthy discourse of 2nd Esdras 6:42, which reads, upon the 3rd day thou didst command that the water should be gathered up in the 7th part of the earth. 6 parts thou hast dried up and kept them, to the intent that of these some being planted of God until might serve thee. Says this was often to be cited by Columbus, who argued that since only 1/7 of the world was water, who argued that since only 1/7 of the world was water, a good deal more dry land than yet was known remained to be discovered overseas. But Columbus seems to have found more in Esdras than just this geographical argument. Here is one of the things he writes about this verse in his marginal notes. But this prophecy is not accepted by the reprobate Jews, yet it has been accepted by the innumerable ones amongst them who have believed in the Gospels. Right, so the Jews who didn't believe in Yahushua, they scoffed at Esdras. They scoffed at the Apocrypha books. But the Jews who believed in Yahushua, they received the Apocrypha books. That's what he's saying. It says, Israel has thus been split into 2 branches, a division predicted as inevitable by the prophet Samuel to King Saul. The reprobate Jews themselves hold It says Esdras in parentheses. That is the Old Testament Esdras as a canonical authority, which basically Columbus is saying Esdras is an authority, which he is an authority. That's how Columbus had the wisdom to come over here because he knew that.
Yep.
Let me go. This is a lot to read. Let me see.
Because you got to understand that, hey, they knew, these Edomites knew that this land was over here. All right, how? Through through King Solomon, because King Solomon did send a navy over here to this land. Why? Because the Northern Kingdom was over here, in which we're about to get into that. All right, but you have to understand that these people knew that, man. All right, he ain't just sail to get to the other side. That's some bull crap that they told you, man. He sailed because they knew that this land was over here through the scriptures, man.
Right.
That's why he's quoting it so much. He's quoting so many of the scriptures and the prophets, man.
Right.
You got it, brother.
Because Columbus was a scholar. He wasn't a reprobate idiot like you people making TikToks, talking shit. Columbus wasn't no low-level guy.
Yeah.
You know, he was a demon. He was a terrible human being, but he was brilliant, just like Napoleon.
Yep.
When you go into the history of Napoleon, he was a piece of garbage, but he was a brilliant man. That's all of those damn devils. Alexander was brilliant. He was a terrible human being, but he was brilliant.
Yep.
Cesare Borgia was a demon, who you know in those pictures that you call Jesus Christ. That's actually a painting of Cesare Borgia, and he was brilliant.
Yep.
You know, these top level Edomites are not stupid.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down to I'm gonna go to page 79. It says, if Columbus did indeed glimpse himself in the role of the man from the sea, then Esdras' identification of the peaceable multitude takes on special significance. Then it's quoting 2nd Esdras 13, 40, and 42, which we can get there. It's written right here, but we can get it. You can read it.
Okay. 2nd Esdras what?
13 and 40.
Oh, yeah. In which that's what we was, through the spirit that was mentioning. But let's go ahead. We can go ahead and get into it, man. It was beautiful, man. To segue there, you know. This is 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, and I'll start at verse 39. And whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him, those are the 10 tribes, which, you know, you have 12 tribes, but prominently, you know, you have out of those
that's the Northern Kingdom,
which is the Northern Kingdom. All right.
See, these Christians don't even understand the history of that.
Yep.
You have the Southern Kingdom and Northern Kingdom. The Israelites, the 12 tribes of Israel, used to be a united monarchy. After the death of Solomon, and then you had Rehoboam and Jeroboam, which it became a divided. The Northern Kingdom succeeded from the Union. They succeeded from the Federation, the monarchy, the Davidic monarchy. All right, and when you go into the history, the Assyrians in roughly 722 roughly BC, they conquered Samaria. They conquered the capital of the Northern Kingdom, which the Northern Kingdom are the Hispanics and Native Indians. They conquered them and they put them into slavery.
Yep.
And well, it's gonna go into the history. Go ahead, keep reading.
It says, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Osea the king, whom Shalmaneser the king of Assyria led away captive, and he carried them over the waters. So after the Assyrian captivity, Northern Kingdom decided to go head to this new land, man.
Right.
All right.
And the waters that he carried over is talking about the Euphrates. You know, he carried them over the Euphrates River, and he put them in the land of the Levant.
Yep.
All right, which was at that time the Assyrian Empire.
Yep.
Go ahead.
It says, and he carried them over the waters, and so came they into another land.
Which is the Assyrian Empire. Go ahead.
But they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
What is that talking about? Where is a land that never mankind dwelt? Africa? No, it's not talking about Africa. People dwelt in Africa.
Yep.
Europe? No, people were living in Europe. All right, you had the Japhites. At this time, the so-called white man wasn't living in Europe. You had Japhetic tribes. All right, Japhetic tribes, the Etruscans, the sons of Javan. These were black people. They weren't black people like us. They just were dark-skinned people. They didn't have the same forefathers as us.
Yeah.
They are heathens,
Yep.
but they lived in Europe. Asia was ruled by another more Shemitic people, like the Chinese, the East Indians. So that wasn't a place that never mankind dwelt. The East Indians had been living in India for thousands of years. So it's not talking about those geographical landmasses. It's talking about the Americas. The Americas was a place that never mankind dwelt.
Yep.
And they didn't come through the damn Bering Strait thousands upon thousands of years ago. They came from Asia, and then it froze over, and then they came. That's garbage.
Yep.
That's pseudo history that they feed you because they don't want people to realize that these tribes are the actual Israelites.
Yeah, that's why you have certain books from I believe James O'Deere. He told people that he believed that Gad was a part of one of the 12 lost 12 tribes, which is the Native American Indians.
And he was an explorer that he lived amongst them for, I believe, over 30 years. And he came to the conclusion that these people are descendants of the lost tribes of Israel. But see, when you stupid and you just he and you want to make a TikTok to be stupid, you just say stupid stuff, don't you? Oh, that's crazy. Look at them. They got the Mexicans out there teaching too. Mexicans, the Hispanics been teaching.
Yeah.
Before a lot of you people even born.
Yeah.
Be more ready to hear than to give a sacrifice of a fool.
Yep.
You need to shut up and listen. Humble down. Listen, we are the authority. We're not pulling this stuff out of our backside like you guys are. You guys are pulling stuff out your backside. You don't know what's going on.
Right.
You haven't dedicated your life towards understanding this knowledge.
That's why you can find certain artifacts among these some of these cultures, like in Cleveland. All right, they found an artifact of the 10 Commandments that Gad wrote. All right, they finding artifacts in Puerto Rico with Hebrew writings.
Ancient
Paleo Hebrew writings. In South America, you're finding all types of artifacts where the Northern Kingdom, some of the Northern Kingdom did know this truth, man. And we're keeping these things.
You have a humongous stone called the Los Lunas Stone in New Mexico.
New Mexico.
Which the Northern Kingdom tribes inhabited. Where it's an inscription of the 10 Commandments in ancient Paleo Hebrew.
Right.
It's right. I mean, you can literally go there right now. It's a huge archaeological evidence of these people being the Israelites. That's thousands of years old. You can literally go there. A brother just went there.
Yep.
A brother from our camp, he literally just went there. Brothers been there. Brothers from the Mississippi camp went there over 10 years ago. 10, 15 years ago. It's right there.
Yep. This ain't nothing that we're making up, man. This ain't something, it just happened yesterday. Y'all just realizing that Issachar is a part of the 12 tribes. This ain't something we just came up with. Now all of a sudden we just bringing them in because we just trying to add diversity. The hell? Make that make sense, man. These people are Israelites. They been Israelites, man. We're not just adding them in just because we want to grow and gain wealth. It's not about that. All right.
We've been teaching these people are Israelites since the 70s and the 80s.
Right.
Our elder teacher, Ab Bivens, also taught that they was Israelites, but the evidence and the actual construction of the 12 tribes came about after the 60s. But it was already known. We already knew that they were the 12 tribes.
Right. I'll continue on. Verse 43, it says, and they enter into Euphrates by the narrow. Slacky, let me jump up. Verse 42. I skipped the verse. It says that they might there keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land.
In their own land, which that's talking about the Americas. And they were keeping the statutes for a time, then they started going off. They started worshiping idols again.
Yep.
That's why the Lord sent the conquistadors and exterminated them with disease warfare. That because that was a curse that the Lord put upon them for breaking the commandments.
That's right.
Showing you that they're under the biblical curses of the Israelites.
That's right.
Let me continue to read actually from where you just left off. But I'm going to continue in the in this book, Lost Tribes and Promised Lands, because he actually put that what you just read quoted in this book. So I'm going to keep reading. It says, Ezra's interpretation of the peaceable multitude then goes on to say that the lost tribes enter into the Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river, which they were able to ford because God stopped the flow of waters for them, and then traveled another year and a half to a region called Arsareth. Evidently, this in parentheses, evidently a Greek corruption of the Hebrew word aratazah, which mean, well, let me see, aratazah, hareth, which means going into another land, all right, or another country. It says there, in parentheses, it says there they were to remain until the latter time. And now, when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. In quotations, it says, we are already familiar with much of this terrain. As for the man from the sea, Ezra identifies him, 2nd Ezra 13 and 26, as, in quotation, he whom God the highest hath kept a great season, which by his own self shall deliver his creature. In other words, the Messiah, right? Because Yahweh Shai is the one that's going to deliver them.
Yep.
You know, Yahweh Shai is going to deliver the Northern Kingdom, the Mexicans, the Puerto Ricans, the Cubans, the Venezuelans, the Brazilians, the Colombians, the Argentinians. And we'll talk about the Argentinians that are Israelites, okay? Okay, we're talking about the so-called blacks that are Israelites. You have to understand, we're not talking about Chicken George.
Nah.
They try to pull that card, well, it's white people living among them. It's Edomites, which white people are Edomites. It's Edomites that look like black people in the hood.
Yep.
Are you familiar with the story of Chicken George and Kunta Kinte?
Roots.
All right, because it wasn't of the father. You got people who have Edomite fathers and Israelite mothers, and they come out looking dark skinned.
Yep.
And on the other side, you have people with Israelite fathers and Edomite mothers or mothers of other nations, and they come out looking as those other nations, especially when they're living amongst those other nations for hundreds of years.
Yep. That's why you have the Lord speaking in parables and prophecies of the wheats and the tares, man, as I mentioned before. That's why you have scriptures like this. I'm going to read it again. All right, I'm going to read it again. Let's read John 7 and 24. It says, judge not according to appearance, but judge righteous judgment. You can't just go off how an individual look, man. All right, it's not about look. The only time skin color or looks apply is when it comes to the Lord, man.
Yeah.
All right.
That's just because out of respect because it's written.
Yeah.
Because the Bible identifies the Messiah as being a black person.
Yeah.
A so-called black person. That's the only reason why we make a big deal about it, because it's written. It's not about skin color. To be an Israelite, it has nothing to. That's what these people don't understand. To be an Israelite has nothing to do with your skin complexion. To be an Israelite is based upon what your father's line of descent.
Yep.
So if I myself, who I'm a dark-skinned man, if I lay down with an East Indian woman, and then my son comes out and then he lays down with another East Indian woman, and then he lays down with another East Indian woman. That child is going to look like an East Indian person.
Yeah.
But guess what ethnicity that child is? That child is an Israelite.
That's right.
It's like this bangs off these people's head, like they can't understand basic biology. You know?
Yep. Yep. That's why you have certain individuals like Blake Griffin's son. All right. The Lord was leagues ahead of his time, man. You understand? The scriptures like that was written for a reason, man. Of course, yeah, to identify the Lord in the tribe, but as well too, you got to understand that you had iconoclasm at that time. All right, that he knew. All right, through the Spirit, Esau was gonna come with that image, Caesar Borgia. Man, the Lord was leagues ahead before anybody, man.
That's the only reason he even wrote it.
That's the only why it's in there.
Yeah, to counter the deception of iconoclasm that the Edomites forwarded on the earth.
Exactly. It was to expose the enemy. All this is to expose the enemy and to present a case in their judgment before the Heavenly Father, man. We're presenting our case before Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai and to compel you Israelites to come in. All right? If you're not compelled to come in, the Lord ain't dealing with you. And that's a scary thing.
And come in goes into you repenting.
Exactly.
And humbling down your pride. It's not just about you knowing you're an Israelite. A lot of you people know you Israelites. Oh, I'm an Israelite. Yeah, so what?
Yep.
Nobody cares that you're an Israelite. It's about you repenting and coming and following Yahweh Shai and bearing your cross.
That's right. Yep.
Go ahead.
Let me go back to that second Esdras, chapter 13 and verse, I'll start at verse 43. And they enter into Euphrates by the narrow place of the river. For the Most High did shew signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over. That's heavy, man. It says, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half in the same region called Azareth. Yeah, it took a year and a half to get over here. All right, and you knew that through Solomon's navy. It took them 3 years to get to come back, for them to go there and come back.
A round trip.
A round trip, exactly. The water, brother. Yeah. A round trip. All right, it took them 3 years because it took a year and a half to get there and a year and a half to get back. All right, and what did his navy come back with? Rare peacocks, gold, all types of things, man. And that's what helped Solomon become so wealthy, man. Yeah. You know? You was gonna say something, bro?
I was gonna say, and they was able to get there faster than the Northern Kingdom because they took off from the Mediterranean. So they took off from the Mediterranean. So they had actually a couple of months between that year and a half. It probably took a couple of months less because when they got there, they had to gather the riches and different resources that they gathered, and then they came back.
Yep.
Because from the Mediterranean compared to where the Northern Kingdom left off is a little shorter, smaller of a distance.
Yep. So
I got some more.
Oh, you got it, bro. Go ahead.
This is page 368. This chapter is entitled "A Lost Tribe Discovered in New York." It says, we'll go down. It says, Winslow, who does not seem to have troubled his thoughts with such questions back in Plymouth's early days, now not only ponders them, but believes he has the answer. In quotation, a godly minister of the city, in quotation. He goes on, probably referring to Thorogood, excuse me, who has written to Rabbi Ben Israel, a great doctor of the Jews, now living at Amsterdam, to know whether after all their labor, travels, and most diligent inquiry they did, yet know what was come, pardon me, yet know was become of the 10 tribes of Israel. Manasseh had answered that at least some of them were in America. And Winslow, who had himself often observed customs among the Indians of a purportedly Judaic character, in common term, the Indians' customs resembled Judaic customs, resembled Jewish customs, Israelite customs. It says, such as the rigid separation of the woman during their menstrual periods. That's a biblical custom. When you go into the law, when a woman is on her cycle, she's supposed to be separated from everybody. She's not supposed to work. She's not supposed to do anything but just be where she's at in her own quarters. You're supposed to bring her food, or however you have her dietary consumption set up. But she's not supposed to touch anything. She's not supposed to touch anybody or you become unclean. And that's why she's bleeding. And then 7 days after she stops bleeding. That's in the law. That's in biblical law. Yep. See, the woman's not supposed to be on her cycle going out working on the bus, going to the coffee shop, all type of menstrual cramps over at work, giving people hell.
Yep.
You see, it says menstrual periods, was now convinced that this was so. He was convinced that they were Israelites. It says, especially considering the juncture of time wherein God hath opened the Indians' hearts to entertain the gospel, being so nigh the very years in which many eminent and learned divines have from scripture grounds foretold the conversion of the Jews. Right, and they were thinking that the conversion of them, of the northern kingdom, was happening back then, but it wasn't. That they came with that pseudo Christianity. The conversion of the northern kingdom is actually happening right now. That's why you see the Mexicans teaching the word right now, teaching the true gospel.
Yep.
Calling upon the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. That he thought that was taking place then. They didn't have the true gospel. We have the true gospel in these latter days. Go ahead, bro. That's all I had on that.
God, yeah, man. We been had the truth, man. You always had Israelite northern tribe Israelite groups in GMS in South America. You got a few of them down there, man. This ain't the first time. Now y'all just seeing this. We didn't know. Nah, all this stuff been out for a long time. Brother's been teaching for a long time.
They just late to the party.
You late. You late.
You late. You just late. Because you don't know what's going on. You too busy. You too busy being stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about people who sincerely just didn't know, and now they're coming into the truth and they're coming to the understanding and they're humbling their spirit and they have good character. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about these people being stupid, making TikToks, laughing, scoffing. Oh, how are Hispanics Israelites? How are those our people? You so stupid. How about you go into some history? How about you go into some archaeology?
Yep. Yeah, the brother's talking to you Israelites that knew and know that you're Israelites. How is it that you've been in the truth this long, all right, and didn't know that the northern kingdom was Israelites, man? Hence showing that you was never really in the truth in the first place.
No, they're not in the truth.
You never really believed.
They just know they Israelites. That's as far as it goes for them.
You're supposed to search out the whole matter. The whole thing about coming into this thing is getting as much knowledge and information as you can. All right, understanding that there's other Israelite groups, understanding that there's understanding that there's different teachings. All right, because we all don't teach the same thing. All right, but had you known that, to look out for these things, all right, or to look these things up, you would have known already that there are other Israelite. There are Israelites that are of the Latin tribe, North American Indians, and so on and so forth. You would know that.
They thinking we just made the 12 tribes sign up. They thinking we just made it up. Because that's what they would do.
We're trying to diversify. That's what we're doing. That's what they believe that we're doing.
Like we don't have anything to back what we're saying when we put each one of those tribes. There's books. There's books.
They go into that.
There's books written by Edomite scholars back in the 1700s that identify specific tribes the same way we identify the tribe. There are books out there that say the Mexicans, they descend from the tribe of Issachar. The North American Indians, they descend from the tribe of Gad. The Seminole Indians, they descend from the tribe of Reuben. There's actual scholars that have written this in books in the 17 and 1800s. Now we don't go off of those books. We actually, the 12 tribes that we have we base that based upon prophecy.
Yep.
We base that upon the Bible. We identify the tribes based upon the Bible. But you can go into those books as well.
Yep. It just furthers the truth, man. It just furthers what we're saying. It just backs up what we're saying is the truth, man. So you got to look past all this color thing and this and that, man, what these people told you, man. Why would Esau allow y'all to learn this, man, when he's trying to keep you in captivity? You know, if all Israel called on the name of Yahweh by Shem Yahushua, we'd have been got out of here. We'd have been out here a long time ago. So you know how many Israelites are calling on the name of Jebus? We never got out of here. All right. So I'm going to continue on in 2nd Ezra chapter 13, in verse 46. It says, Then dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they shall begin to come, the highest shall stay the spring of the stream again, and that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. But those that be left behind of thy people are they that be they that are found within my borders. Now when he destroyed the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. And then shall he shew them great wonders. Then said I, O Yahweh, that bearest rule, shew me this. Wherefore have I seen the man coming up from the midst of the sea? All right. You want me to continue on? Yeah. You want me to continue on? I can continue on. It says, and he said unto me, like as thou canst neither see out nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea, even so can no man upon the earth see my son, or those that be with him, but in the daytime.
Right, and Yahushua coming from the midst of the sea. That term sea in the Hebrew is mayim. All right, that's the root word of the Hebrew word shemayim, which means heavens. So Yahushua, he's coming to save the Israelites from outer space.
Yep.
He's coming with the chariots, which the term chariot is what you know as UFOs. In the Bible, they're called chariots. All right, you read about Ezekiel's wheel. You know, they're called wheels.
Yep.
You know, but that's Yahushua is coming from, because outer space is made of waters.
Yep.
That's why the term heaven in the Hebrew is shemayim, which means pertaining to waters. You know, go ahead.
It says, verse 53, it says, This is the interpretation of the dream which thou sawest, and whereby thou only art here lightened. For thou hast forsaken thy own way, and applied thy diligence unto my law, and sought it. Thy life hast thou ordered in wisdom, and hast called understanding thy mother. And therefore have I shewed thee the treasures of the highest. After other 3 days I will speak other things unto thee, and declare unto thee mighty and wondrous things.
That's good on that, bro.
Yeah.
You did you get Judah and Israel together?
Yeah, kind of. I already grabbed that, okay. But I can read it again. You know, hey, the Spirit is calling on it again. Okay. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 33. It says, Thus saith Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together.
Now, historically, when were the 12 tribes oppressed together? not during the Assyrians,
Yeah.
because during the Assyrian Empire, the Assyrians only conquered Samaria, which is the northern kingdom, which is what you know as Israel, the kingdom of Israel. All right, not during the time of the Babylonians. The Babylonians only oppressed the southern kingdom, which is Judah.
Yep.
The Persians oppressed the only Judah. The Greeks, that was only Judah. The Romans, that was only Judah. When you get 70 AD and all that, that was the Judah. Okay, so when were they oppressed together? That took place in the Americas.
Yep.
Right now, the Hispanics and Negroes are being oppressed together.
That's right.
Let's talk about right now. Go ahead.
And all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go.
Yeah, like look what's going on with the deportation in the ICE detention centers. Who's in those centers? Not East Indians. They're not rounding up East Indians. They're not rounding up Chinese. They're rounding up Hispanics. Why? Because they're oppressing the Hispanics because they're the Israelites.
Yeah.
Who's more of a threat to them? The East Indians and Chinese are much more of a threat than the Hispanics. You see? The Russians, you got Russians over here. They're not rounding up Russians. They're rounding up Hispanics. Because they're Israelites. They're them being rounded up and put into detention centers and concentration camps. That's them being in captivity.
Which is all a part of the curses, man. All right, they don't talk about anybody as being bad in America besides you Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans. That's all they talk about. You Israelites are the face of the stab and jab. You're the face of everything. You're gonna be the face of the MOTB too. Esau's gonna make it known, man. All right, he's gonna make it known. All right, you're also the face of crime. All right, you're the face of everything, man. Everything that's wicked, man. Esau makes it seem as if it's Jake.
When he's the real criminal, the so-called white man commits way more crime, much more crime than the Israelites, than the blacks and Hispanics.
Yeah. So the Hispanics, they're going through the same thing too, as the Southern Kingdom, man. All right, we're all being oppressed together, man.
Yeah.
We're all at the bottom. We're all low, and I'm talking to you, Native Americans, Latinos, and Negroes, man. All right, we're all being oppressed and low together. All right, and it's only probably due to the curse because we went off as a nation, man. Had we did the things that the Lord required us to do, we'll be ruling the earth.
Oh, can I get this?
You got it, brother.
Because we're going into how Mexicans are Israelites.
Oh, you got it, bro.
Right. So this is page 187 of The Lost Tribes and Promised Lands: The Origins of American Racism by Ronald Sanders. Page 187. This chapter is entitled Flares and Lost Tribes. You see. Yeah, Flares and Lost Tribes, page 187. Just skip to a quick point. It says, for with increasing frequency and conviction, Duran came to see elements of a Judaic character in the old Aztec religion. Who are the Aztecs? The Aztecs are the Mexicans.
Yep.
It says Judaic character, Israelite Hebrew character in the old Aztec religion. At first, this tendency appears only as a fervent search for Jewish analogies provoked by Aztec customs such as the eating of only unleavened bread on certain days of the year. Yeah, that's called the Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It says the prohibition of drinking liquids after the eating of certain ritual foods and the use of baths for purification. And because that's a very intrinsic part of our culture of bathing after certain ceremonies and bathing after certain things we do, such as sex, such as if a woman on her cycle touches you, you have to bathe yourself, things of that nature. Such as the priestly order, the priest, before they bring forth sacrifice and before you sacrifice, you have to bathe yourself before you bring forth the sacrifice, and the priest has to bathe himself before he does the sacrifice, things of that nature. I'm giving examples. It says, in the use of baths for purification, in time this begins to seem to Duran like overwhelming evidence that the Indians are indeed descended from the lost tribes of Israel.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I could keep going, but that's the point.
Yeah. So, hey, that's even more evidence, man. All right, because the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom are going to be joined back together. All right, they're going to come back together. You Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you're going to come back. We're all going to come back under what? That one banner, under Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah. And scriptures talks about that. All right. Well, all Israel is going to come back together. All right. Who you think that's going to be beamed up on those chariots? All right. The Lord tells you who it is. 12,000 from Judah, 12,000 from Issachar, 12,000 from Ephraim, 12,000 from Gad, 12,000 from Asher, and Naphtali, and Reuben, so on and so forth, man. All right. The Lord is only talking about Israel, man. He's not talking about these other nations, man. All right. And they're gonna look like other people. They're gonna look like other heathens, man. They're gonna speak different languages. All right, they're gonna look like these other heathens, man. So, you had anything else, bro?
We can end it on that.
So, with that being said, man, Lord willing, this was edifying. I want to give all praises, all honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakar Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone who rule and teach well. Shalom.